All right, my name's Phil. I'm an alcoholic. Man, I just want to congratulate all the birthdays. 21 years. Man, I'm 57. I don't know if I'll get that, but unless they come out with some kind of scientific, cybernetic, I don't know. I'm overthinking. I'm an alcoholic. I got alcoholic mind, obviously, you can tell. Um,
Keep coming back.
the token takers, right? 9 months. I didn't hear it. I can't remember if we got a 6 months. Down to 30 days. And more cool. The newcomer, right? You guys taught me that the newcomer was the most important person, right? So welcome newcomers. Um, I'm going to steal a couple lines from you guys, my sponsor. My sponsor says, I hope you hear something that makes you want to investigate this a little further and have your own experience, right? Had a lot of people when I was, well, first off, my sobriety date is 1/19/19. By the grace of Creator, He gave me one more year last week, and I've been taking cakes. I've been like on a cake tour, man. How I got here is what I want to talk about tonight, but I'm super grateful that I'm sober, and I'm super grateful that my God has relieved me from the bondage of alcohol, one, and from the bondage of self. I came to Alcoholics Anonymous just trying to figure out how to not drink, and I messed up and started learning how to live, right? I really enjoyed this meeting. It says in the literature, you guys, it says in literature, and I've been going to the fellowship of the Spirit and the Spirit of the fellowship. So I feel that here. I feel the Spirit of the fellowship and the fellowship of the Spirit, and I'm really, really in a good spot right now. This is awesome. This is my third time at this meeting. I've eaten tamales. I love this place, right? And Patrick, thank you. My boy Chris right here. I met Chris, and Chris was in the rooms when I came in out of Temecula, and all the gentlemen here that held AA on your shoulders so I could fucking take a stab at it. I really appreciate you. A few gentlemen told me thanks for driving out here. But man, back in the day, man, I didn't care if I needed to go get a little something, something, throw a bottle of Jack in me or some Jägermeister. I'll drive to Vegas, man, calling sick the next day and, hey, I'm having some problems, and I mean, that was nothing. So for me to be able to come here and speak, not only is it an honor, but I get a chance to practice my primary purpose, right? I actually am starting to know who the hell I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to do, right? That's me. I have practiced I have done the 12 steps, but the 12 steps didn't start working until they did me, right? And I remember last time here, there was a gentleman doing that. I thought he was pointing up, where that place on Sunday people do that and stuff, or when you win the Super Bowl, they do that. But what I found out is that it's in here. My Creator, my God, and my understanding is in here, and that's the last place I thought I was supposed to look for him. I don't reach outwards anymore. You guys taught me to reach inwards. That's where the solution's at, right? And not only do I not reach outwards, I also know that all this stuff out here isn't what causes this stuff inside to go, I'm just going to say it, ape shit, right? And the spiritual axiom, I learned a lot about, y'all taught me about the spiritual axiom. Whenever I'm disturbed, there's something wrong with me, because I'm this guy, right? Somebody said, I heard the quirky one-liners, right? If I'm pointing one finger at you, three are pointing back at me, I just go like this, man, There's nothing pointing back at me. I'm just one of them basic garden variety alcoholics. I got here 4 years ago, thoroughly whooped ass, right? Busted in a million pieces. Let me go back again, I'm all over the place. My home group is the Men's Solution in Temecula, 6:30 Thursday nights. I was also introduced to the Compton group, 435 Compton intergroups. I do a lot of Zoom. I just went Monday to take a gig there. I travel a lot, right? Because my sponsor told me, you have to attack your recovery like the disease attacked you, right? So I do maybe 10, 12 meetings a week, right? Including Zoom, right? I don't go to live meetings, but that's what I need. That's what I need. And I'm scared to stop that because I don't know if I miss one meeting, I might think I'll pick up a drink or take the plug out of the job. So, but that's me. So I'm really excited to be here. I don't care how far I have to drive for my recovery, like I said. But what I want to talk about is, you know, the dereliction, the demoralization, the bedevilments, right? I know literature like off the cuff when I'm like not in a meeting or I'm talking to like regular people, right? But when I come up here, I forget everything, right? And I like that because my ego gets scared when I talk about it. He doesn't want to be around. He only wants to be around when I'm talking about him, and he doesn't like to be vulnerable, right? And so that's why I realized, like, why do you get so nervous when you're speaking? Oh, because your ego fucking is scared, right? So, yeah. So I'm glad. I think he's leaving now. So, the thing about it is, I learned about these bedevilments, right? I learned that even without an ounce of alcohol in me, that I was destined to behave a certain way, which was self-centeredness to the core, right? And I look back when I the first chance, I think the first chance I had to be willing was when I woke up one day and I just couldn't do this no more, and I had squeezed out 20 years. I remember 35 years, took the cuffs, came off, and let me go for the weekend and come back, and the bracelets on the ankles and all that crap. I mean, that didn't get me. I thought that I just wasn't doing the right amount of alcohol or something, you know what I mean? Maybe I should drink a little more. Maybe that'll, maybe I should not just drink 6 days a week. Maybe I should drink 7 days a week, And so I did that, and I thought I was special. I thought that, the people out there that weren't like me were weak because they couldn't hold their alcohol, right? Hold their alcohol, right? But they got to go home at night, right? I was sitting in a cell, and I still thought they were the weak ones, right? So coming into the rooms, before I came into the room, I think the first willingness that I practiced was surrender, right? And then I called up a treatment center. It was in Florida. I went down there, 30 days in there. You guys came in H&I, right? So I know another fellowship came in H&I. I didn't even know they were different fellowship. I just saw a guy saying, hey, you don't have to do this anymore, even if you don't want to, right? And I'm like, shit, that's the best time to do it, when I want to. And my ears started opening up, and I heard, like, I didn't understand what they were saying, but I knew it wasn't bullshit, because I was bullshit. 3/4 of my life, that's all I was, manipulating. Talks about juggernaut of self. A juggernaut is like an unmovable force. My will of self, I need to get what I need to get. My instincts don't have a governor switch. I want what I want, damn it, and I'm going to get it now, right? I never grew up. King babies, well, I'm just a giant, oversized baby. You don't give me what I want, or I think that you're going to take what I don't have, I start crying, right? So as a grown man, that's not a good look, And I manifested a lot of my anger, or a lot of my fear through anger. And that caused me a lot of problems. So after the treatment center, I heard something about, hey, go to a meeting when you get back to California. I said, cool. I went to a meeting. Then they said, get a sponsor. This guy sat right next to me, and he was handing candies out, just like that on the table. I didn't understand what he was saying either, but it didn't sound like bullshit, right? I heard some kind of peace, what you guys call serenity and joy, and I wasn't used to hearing that. I was used to the bedevilments, right? The restlessness, the irritable, discontentment. And I said, you know what, let me go ask this guy, right? And I went up and asked him, and he said, yeah, we'll talk. And I took that as a no, And I said, well, fuck you then. You know what I mean? I didn't tell him that, but. So next day he called me, what are you doing? Whatever, And that developed into a relationship where I now know this isn't a program for people that want it or do it. I mean, yeah, it needs me to have the desire to stop drinking, but it's a program of action, you know, and I didn't know that yet, right? And he called me a few times and said, "You ready to go to work?" And I asked him what that meant, you know, and he did, you know, I'm going to do this a couple of times. And I didn't really know what that was. I was just like, man, I just want to stop drinking, man, you know. And he gave me a line that I've heard a few times at the comedy group. And he said, you know what, if you get a horse thief sober, he's still a horse thief, right? And I didn't get that one either, right? And then, so we started doing some work. He was like nursery rhymes, you know. I'm like, what the fuck is these nursery rhymes, man? And then he broke out with one. We were doing the third step, and he broke out with one that I had thought I heard, right? But it didn't sound like it didn't sound like the same one. And he said, there's 3 frogs on a log, right? One of them makes a decision to jump off. How many frogs are on there? And I was like, come on, man, 2, 3, whatever. He said, no, there's 3. Because he just made a decision, he didn't do nothing, right? So that was the first time my sponsor, come from a pretty strong sponsorship family where they told him, right, things like, if you ain't done, go back out, max the fuck out. You're wasting drinking time, man. Get out. Sit on the pot and fucking shit or not. Stuff like that, because they're not really concerned about my feelings. They care less about my feelings and shit, right? They tell me that, right? They want me to live, and my feelings don't really generate the type of life that I need, So, yeah, we started doing some work, and then as I started doing the step work, I realized there was all kinds of willingness all over the steps, man. I became willing. I'm supposed to be willing to make this list, and then I'm supposed to be willing, as I get progressed in the 9th, to make amends for the stuff that I did on that list, right? To the people, when to do so would injure them or others. Maybe I can't say that to some people because I might be under the ground, my lifestyle that I had. And then just all these things, prayer, meditation, right, that started accumulating, man. And I'm like, man, I got to do all this stuff. And my sponsor's like, no, you don't got to do a fucking thing, man. And I've seen people that don't do a fucking thing, right? I was one of them, so I know what it looks like. And I have people in my life, that I work with. I have some cats that I work with. They call me sponsor, and I see the disease working, and I see them or I see them try to treat their disease, right? And the disease for me isn't treated by just putting a plug in the jug. And I also see people that aren't like me that suffer from disease, right? Like they can take one drink and put it down, but I see their lives. I got family members that don't drink. Thank you. That they go through the same things I did when I was drinking, and I can't explain to them like, hey man, have you ever thought about looking inside? Right? That's none of my business, because they're gonna look at me and be like, "You're a drunk. How could you fucking give me some advice?" And that's why I heard we don't give advice here. But I'm super grateful. I went to the I still call them liquor stores. I'm like from the '80s to get some water, and old dudes come up. Can I get some money? I'm like, can I go in the store first, bro? I'll think about it. And then I go in the back, and I'm trying to get water, and there's like a row of people there thinking what they want to get, all this other stuff that I don't do anymore. And then they're sitting up there, and I'm just like, wow. And then I see all these people trying to. It's just I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to do that. I get to go home to my family tonight, and they're waiting for me because they know where I'm at, and they're not going to have to call the police or he didn't come home last night. He's in the ditch, So getting back to the steps. For me, willingness is awesome. Practicing willingness for me doesn't really come by just thinking about it. You guys told me to take a rigorous course of action. I'm grateful because willingness is a key, but for me, to turn that key, I need to practice it in a form of action. So this is a program of action, and if you're new, I just wanted to, make this evident that even if you don't want to do it, like I didn't want to do some of this stuff. My sponsor said, do the stuff you don't want to do till you want to do it. Do contrary action, right? And I did it because, my mind used to take my body wherever my mind wanted to go. But when I started doing things with my feet, I had to take my mind with me. And my mind finally said, fuck it, okay, we'll try it out, right? That comes with a strong sense of connection with my power, with my creator, which I've developed in this last year. Wow, man. The first year was like, oh, this is cool. Second year was, yeah. This last year was like, wow, this connection I have with my God, man. I couldn't get this over there on Sundays, the place on Sundays. There's no digging. Anybody that does that, that's awesome. It just didn't work for me. This might not work for you if you're a newcomer. And so that's none of my business. I'm just here to tell you that it worked for me, right? And as having a spiritual awakening as a result, now my job is to carry this message, and that's all my purpose is today. And I'm glad that I have a purpose today. I'm glad that you gentlemen are a part of my life. I love this meeting. Sorry if I was all over the road. I'm just super grateful. That's all I can say. I don't have to go back to the way of life that I know is waiting for you after. So thank you for helping me stay sober and all that.